Hi, this is Hasan Ali, founder and CEO of Right Track Admissions, an admissions consulting company. Now, if you haven't been to our channel before, get ready for an unfiltered account of exactly how to get into your top choice program, how to secure funding, and how to succeed both as a student and as a professional. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe by hitting the big red button below to get the latest contact from Right Track Admissions, or hit us up on our social media handles, also conveniently located below this video, to get the latest content. So what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're going to talk about the ACT, SAT, and test prep industry as it pertains to COVID and how to ace that industry, right? And how to ace those exams to get into your top choice college. And to help us out with that, we're inviting in Hasan Ali from Air Tutors, a company that's been around for quite a while and become very accustomed to how to navigate online learning and really help their clients to be able to be successful candidates. Make sure to wait till the end of this video to get all the key takeaways and the call to action to get you on the right track to success.
Cool. Thank you, Hamida, for the invitation, and happy to be sharing our story as well as the best tips and tricks on how to go about this new age learning environment we're all in. So we started off about 5 years ago where we really created and perfected a personalized educational experience through an online setting. One of the trends that we're seeing in the past 5 years is the rise of adaptive-based testing, particularly in elementary, middle, and high schools. So what we're assuming is going to happen as the COVID starts making standardized testing a bit more ambiguous, we're under the understanding that adaptive-based testing is going to become way more predominant, and as a benchmark used by post-secondary institutions to really create that spectrum of students and see where students are falling. So future direction amid COVID is probably going to be a rise in adaptive-based testing to help scale out where students are going to be placing, particularly for admission into post-secondary. The first one is self-discipline, really having your executive functioning down, which for middle school and high school students is a bit of a challenge. So that's something that we really coach to our students on how to get your self-discipline in an environment that works particularly for your personality. So whether it be totally silent, whether it be with some music or the TV in the background, you have to figure out what works for you. So that's self-discipline, coming up with a regimented schedule, meaning 3 to 4 p.m. you're specifically working on math, 4 to 5 you're specifically working on English, maybe 8 to 9 a.m. you're reading a book. You have to be very regimented in your approach. And as well, what's really cool about this environment that we're in is that most teachers are creating lectures that are saved. So you have to be an active participant in learning. Though your lectures are saved, you have to pause and rewind while you're taking notes. Make sure that you're picking up everything that they're saying. Make sure that you're writing down everything that your teacher is writing down, and all the examples that they write, make sure you're writing those as well. And if the lecture is an hour long, it might take you an hour and a half. It might take you 2 hours to get through that lecture, but it's going to be so critical in your comprehension of that lecture to make sure that you're being an active participant in that process. The second takeaway is really understanding the fundamentals, meaning vocab and math. The vocab and vocabulary words in English are so critical for your success. So you're going to see these words ambiguous. You're going to see what's another common SAT, ACT word is ludicrous, audacious, cacophony. Those are very common words that the SAT, ACT, and other standardized tests throw at you. So really getting to know those words and being able to use them in sentences. We have a huge list that we always send to students that say, hey, these are the words that you should know. Boom, get to know those. Get to know the synonyms, the antonyms, and how to use them in a sentence. Math, that's the next big one. Get to know how to use positive, negative numbers, fractions, how to graph y equals mx plus b. There's common themes that they're always testing you on. So make sure you know the fundamentals, because if you're really solid in that, then layering on top of it test taking strategies would become so much easier. and specifically knowing the vocabulary in application to math questions, because sometimes they throw in these big words that are used differently in word problems. So even if you know how to use the math techniques, you might not know the words that translate into different mathematical devices and operations. So really getting to know, one, the self-discipline, two, the fundamentals. The third one is practice. Practice, practice, practice. Can't say that enough. Make sure you're reading. If you're reading, make sure you're going back and asking yourself, what did I just read? And you could do that by just going on Google search and asking chapter 2 summary of XYZ book. For math, what you should do is go to a textbook, open up a random textbook, go to the end of the chapter, and in the end of the chapter, there's problems. Look at the odd problems, because those odd problems will give you, there's answers to the end, there's answers to those problems at the end of the book. So make sure you work through each problem at the end of the book or at the end of the chapter, and make sure you're getting them right.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Hasan, for these really, really important points. These points are actually fundamental to learning in general. You got self-discipline and active learning, mission critical to create that learning environment, to figure out how you learn, not just learning, but how you learn. Fundamentals. We can't state that enough, whether it's the ACT, the SATs, any subject matter test, frankly, just learning in general. So something Hasan has witnessed over the years working with students. They miss the fundamentals. They may be going way too granular, missing the basics to be able to effectively tackle almost any question that they're given. And that's what these exams are trying to teach. So make sure mathematically and vocabulary in terms of your English, nail down the fundamentals. And last but not least, practice, 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 get those practice exam, and actively figure out why. Reverse engineer. You got the problem wrong. You may be getting the same type of problem wrong consistently over and over and over again. Hasan, why don't you give us a quick call to action for our audience so that they know exactly what the next step is to help them get on the right track to success?
Yeah, so the call to action would be really taking practice exams and figuring out, like Hamida just mentioned, take your practice exam and see where your most answers are incorrect, because that is your area of focus. Figure out what answers you're getting incorrect, whether it's a common theme that you need to work on, whether it's just fractions, whether it's chemistry, whatever it is, figure that part out. If it's a broad subject, go back into your textbook, reread those sections, redo those problems. And then once you get down that aspect of it, figure out why you missed those questions. What was the psyche behind picking C versus B? And that's something we constantly tailor our own test taking strategy approach to our students. We really get into, why did you pick B? Why did you pick C versus D and A? Because sometimes you know the answer, but for some reason you just picked the wrong one. So if you really understand why you're choosing answers, you're going to get a perfect score, even though you didn't know the right answer.
Gotcha. Thank you so much, Hasan, the CEO of Air Tutors. Fantastic company that does test prep, which you guys definitely should look up. You can find it in the show notes. And as always, we really hope that you found this useful and will help get you on the right track to success. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below, and we'll do our best to answer those questions and keep providing you with free guidance. In the meantime, and as always, please stay safe, stay sane, and stay connected.